What is up, nation? Today let's talk Super Mario 3D All-Stars coming to the Nintendo Switch. Alright everyone, the day is finally here, the day that we've been building to and waiting for this whole time. We finally have Nintendo on record releasing a Mario Direct confirming the existence of Mario 3D All-Stars, which is a huge win for the title. First off, I'm really glad they're calling it that. I know this is a very divisive topic. There's a bunch of the section of the internet that literally thought that this game did not exist in any way, shape, or form, and I don't blame them. It was obviously Nintendo had a tough year. We hadn't heard anything from them in the way of their Q4 release, so we really did not know what to expect walking into this second half of the year whenever they've just been silent the entire time. However, you know, there was a number of quality reputable leakers, not just random Reddit posts, but actual leakers that are insiders in the industry that have had incredible track records that have reported that these exact games have been in the works for quite some time from Nintendo. And specifically, they called out Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, which is exactly what we saw Nintendo present to us for the 35th anniversary celebration. Now, there were some other titles that were announced. We're also going to get Mario 3D World ported in 2021, which is great, and it looks like they're doing new content for that. So we got a bunch of details to cover today, but I'm just happy personally that we can finally all say Nintendo showed us firsthand. It's no longer rumors or speculation. It's on the books. It's official. And then what I want to talk about today in this video is what to expect when it comes to the limited release. I mean, we typically don't see Nintendo say that, hey, this game is only going to be available for a certain amount of time, but they have said that with this particular game. They've confirmed that by March 31st that they are not going to offer Mario 3D All-Stars any longer. Now, my theory is that they're going to present it in a different form where you can still get the games, but they're going to be probably broken up individually. We'll talk through that, and then we are going to talk through all the gameplay changes that we noticed. Have we noticed anything different when it comes to the physics of the games and stuff like that? So we'll do a full deep dive. I know we didn't get the full graphical update that everybody was hoping for, especially on like a Mario 64, which I believe is still running in a 4:3 aspect ratio. So we'll talk through that and what we can expect in the final release. Sunshine does look like it got its textures cleaned up quite a bit, and even 64 did, but they're definitely still running very similar to how the original games were, with just a higher resolution. And then Sunshine did get the widescreen support as well. But we'll talk through all those details right now. Before we do, I do want to just quickly invite everybody to join Sunbro Nation today. If you haven't already, do so by subscribing below, and then make sure you leave me a comment on which game out of these three that you're most looking forward to. I'd really love to start that back and forth conversation, as I'm extremely excited about this title. And then hit the like button if you do enjoy this content. But with that, let's dive into the details. So the first thing we'll talk about is everything that Nintendo did reveal to us in this Direct. So they are clearly going above and beyond for their iconic plumber, their main mascot of Nintendo, the main company star. They are giving him a full celebration for hitting his 35th anniversary collection. So the first thing that we saw is they're actually going to release a special edition Game & Watch that is actually going to play the original Mario Bros. 1, Mario Bros. 2, or aka the Lost Levels in the US, and then we also have that available to play the original Game & Watch game, but instead of Game & Watch being the character, it is Mario. So they opened up with that. It's a cool little collector's item. I think I will pick it up for my collection. It just looks like a really cool thing to have, and as time goes on in the future, it's probably something that's going to be fun to look back on and see, hey, remember when Nintendo did this for Mario. The next thing we saw was a major announcement that I know a lot of fans, including myself, are excited for, which is Mario 3D World being ported to the Switch. So we finally got that title officially confirmed as well. This was, again, heavily rumored by a number of different leakers that it would be coming over, and we have seen it now officially announced. But what's really exciting about that announcement is the fact that we're not just getting 3D World, but we're getting additional content with it. So they announced something called Bowser's Fury, which some fans have speculated that it's just a different gameplay mode. It could be that, but I do think that based off of what they showed, it's definitely a new section of the game, because you see it looks really like dark and dreary, and there's rain coming down in the background, and Cat Mario is just sitting there at some kind of like dark pillar that he's about to walk up to. So you see some interesting stuff. So I do think that they are adding what it would essentially be considered like a DLC type add-on pack to this game by the time they port it to the Switch. And I love to see stuff like that, because if they are asking us, the fans that did purchase it on the Wii U, to actually go ahead and spend another $60 and purchase it again on the Switch, it feels a lot better to make that transition when we are getting brand new content that they're adding in from the ground up. So it was nice to see Nintendo actually do that, and we don't know a whole lot of the details on what this content is yet, but it does definitely look like it's going to be quite of an extensive part of the adventure. So I hope to see that it's a lot of gameplay and not just something that they kind of tacked on that's a new gameplay mode, but I do have faith in it so far, just based off of how it looked and how they presented it in the trailer, and it seemed to be a big part of the title. So we got that to look forward to as well. Next up, we got Super Mario Bros. 35, which was a really surprise announcement. I'm glad they're doing that. It does look like it's going to be a real fun battle royale type of head-to-head Mario original Mario Bros experience that you can play online against 35 or I guess 34 other Switch players alongside you. And I don't know exactly what the parameters of that are going to be yet. Are you battling for high scores or different things like that? But it looked like you could be in separate levels at the same time. So it's going to be some kind of competition-based game surrounding the original Mario Bros. So I do think it's cool that they're adding some new life into that game. And then of course that's just another reason to subscribe to Nintendo Online services if you haven't done so already. They are doing more and more to make that a more attractive subscription for fans. So that's actually going to launch on October 1st, and then it's playable until March 31st of 2021, which is kind of the end window of when they're doing some of these titles. It's like a very temporary, like, hey, get Mario back in the main light, and then we're not going to continue to support all this stuff after that. I do hope that this was maybe one that once you download it, you could still play online, but it does sound like they're probably just going to pull the plug on this after the 31st, but of March, that is. So let's see what happens with that. But I was super glad that we actually saw them do something to revitalize the original Mario Bros. As a nice tribute. And then the next thing they talked about was something that was kind of out of left field that I didn't expect at all. I was really thrown off when I first saw it, and I was like, are we getting a new Mario Kart? And then quickly I realized, it's somebody playing what looks to be like a Mario Kart type game, but it's using a camera feed from the kid's room that he's playing in, but yet he's controlling this RC type car figure that has Mario as a player in real life, and he's controlling that from the Switch. So it's Nintendo venturing into this AR, augmented reality type of game, and I think it's really cool to see them try to do this with one of their main titles like Mario Kart, because we've seen them, we've seen mobile games and stuff kind of take advantage of AR technology, but I think this is one that actually makes a lot of sense, and especially for kids around the holiday season, I can totally see this selling incredibly well, because you're getting a physical toy that you can play with that's Mario, but then you're also still playing Mario Kart at the same time, and you have AR overlays of the items that pop up, and then you can customize tracks and change the tracks around your house to make it a different form factor each time. And then it is multiplayer, so if you have friends that have it, they can play as well. So I think it's a really unique different type of thing that we haven't seen before, and I'm glad to see Nintendo actually stepping out there and supporting the AR technology and trying to incorporate it in on a title that's as big as Mario Kart. So that was really cool to see. And then they just quickly announced some of their merch and things that they're doing with different partnerships to put out more Mario-related content, a lot of which we knew did exist. So they're blasting out Mario's 35th on all fronts, which is really cool to see. And then just as a bonus, again, for Nintendo Online subscribers, is we get the original Super Mario All-Stars that is playable right now. It's live, that you can go and play on the Nintendo Switch Online service on the Super Nintendo edition. So that was really cool to see. That's definitely a nostalgic title for me. It is only 4:3 aspect ratio, so you're not getting any kind of new widescreen support or things like that. But classic games tend to run really well on the Switch, and they're really enjoyable. And since Nintendo lets you play however you want to play, you can play it with like an old school Super Nintendo style controller, which is really fun for an old school fan like me. So I do think that it was cool that they added that in there as well. And the last title they announced, and definitely the main attraction for me, was Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So we did get all the games officially announced. Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy all sold on the same cartridge, which is just a fantastic value. It was a little bit of a mixed feelings type thing for me when I saw Mario 64 come on screen, because it was pretty quickly recognizable that they did port this technically the same version of the game, and they definitely cleaned up the textures, and they did some different things to make it look better. You can tell, but it's by no means is it like a ground up remaster or remake rather, where they do new textures and maybe even a different engine and stuff like that. I know some fans were hoping to see that. I didn't necessarily think it needed a new engine, but I did want to see what it would look like, kind of like we're seeing with the PC port version of the game, where it has the newer model of Mario, and maybe they just do more of a from the ground up new lighting effects and things like that. And it looks like we are definitely just getting the classic version of Mario 64 with some cleaned up textures and higher resolution. The one thing that is a little bit divisive for some fans is it is only playable in a 4:3 aspect ratio, so you're not going to get the widescreen support, at least it appears. It is possible, I guess, that that's somewhere in the settings that you can toggle on, but the way that Nintendo presented it was in 4:3, so I'm assuming that means that we are going to be playing that in the old classic box TV format. So that is what it is. I'm still super excited to see it on the Switch. I do think that Mario Sunshine and Mario Galaxy both look amazing the way they are, so they didn't need the texture rework as much as Mario 64 did. So whenever they flipped over to Sunshine and started showing that, I got super pumped again that, okay, we are getting 3 legendary Mario games on one cartridge for $60. I think it's a steal, and I'm super excited to play through these games again. Now on Sunshine, we have some interesting talking points because there was control type things that fans don't know how they're going to pull it off. They have analog triggers on the GameCube that, depending on how hard you're pressing down the R button or the L button, it registers that pressure sensitivity, and that's actually a mechanic that they directly built around the water shooter that Mario has in the flood mechanic in Mario Sunshine. So it'll be interesting to see how they accomplish that same thing with a button, because it's definitely not going to feel the same as whenever you're pressing an analog controller that responds to how hard you're pressing it. So maybe they give us the option to play the GameCube controller or plug the GameCube controller in rather from the Smash adapter. That could be something. There was actually a little line that said accessories sold separately under the Mario Sunshine version specifically, so it's possible that they're going to let us play like that if we want to, and then if not, then you're just going to have the option to map that to a button. Then some other fans noticed that Mario jumps a little bit higher, it seems like, than the original, and then just different mechanics seem kind of sped up. And then they've definitely made some changes to the background and the overworld. If you do side-by-side comparisons, you can see they've made some slight changes, but I actually really think that this game looked amazing coming forward, and I do think Sunshine was a kind of a divisive title. There were some fans that absolutely loved the game and it's their favorite Mario game of all time, and then there's others that just really wanted nothing to do with it. They just said that was the worst Mario 3D game. I think a lot of fans need to give this one a second chance. I think it's like incredibly challenging, but once you get past that and you start hunting the shine sprites, if you try to go do a 100% run, it's a good 60+ hour game, and it's really challenging the entire time, and they have some awesome sections in it and some great boss battles and different mechanics that we haven't seen in any other Mario game since then. So I'm super excited that for fans who haven't gotten a chance to play this, or maybe ones that didn't give it a long enough chance, and they can go in and revisit this and see how great of a title it actually is now that we can play it both on the go and docked on the TV. I think it's going to be a great combination. And then lastly, they showed Galaxy, which just looks incredible with the upscaled resolution. They really didn't need to do much to this game at all other than just port it over to make it HD, make sure it had the widescreen support, which you could already technically do on the Wii, but it didn't look near as good. So now we have it here. It does even look like certain lighting effects and stuff has been touched up. I'm just super excited to see what this game looks like whenever we're actually able to play it on the Switch ourselves, and we won't have to wait long because we're just 2 weeks away from release date. So the one thing about this game's mechanics is we had on the Wii where you were pointing your Wiimote to actually pick up and get all of the star bits that were around in the level, and it looks like you do still have the ability to do that if you want with Joy-Cons. However, if you're playing on like a Switch Lite or something like that, obviously you don't have detachable Joy-Cons. This game is supported on the Switch Lite, which means that's not the only way you can play, which I'm really happy about. I don't know if they're going to map that to the analog then. I did see one report that you can actually do the touch screen, like use the touch screen on like a Switch or Switch Lite instead of the analog to pick up the star bits. So that might be a cool little mechanic, but that remains to be seen on what they'll actually map that to in like a pro controller type environment. But the fact that we can play with those controllers that we want to is amazing. I'm so glad that they didn't say you have to play with 2 separate Joy-Cons, because that was maybe the only thing that I didn't really enjoy about the Wii version of that game. I'm personally not one for, making motion controls, like if you do have to do a last minute jump and you have to shake the controller to make Mario do that last circle jump. I was never a fan of that in the original, and I think now that we're going to have it mapped to proper controls all the way through, I think it's going to be an amazing title. And hopefully, if anybody didn't get the chance to play it or complete it all the way, hopefully this is that chance for them to go back and experience one of the greatest 3D Marios as far as I'm concerned. Now, there was obviously the missing, the lack of Mario Galaxy 2 in this. Nintendo even almost acted like it didn't even exist in their library whenever they showed all the different games that you could play, the Mario games across the years on the Switch, and it's like literally almost all of them except for Mario Galaxy 2. We'll see if they do something with that title in the future. I definitely think it makes sense that they could do it as a standalone, because it's such a long game to begin with. I think there's like 240 plus stars in that, and there's all these different side missions and quests that you can go do and play through, so it's a bunch of gameplay. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see that one get its own release in the future, but that was not talked about at this event. But I do hope we get to see it at some point, because that's another grade A 3D Mario title that does deserve to come to the Switch. Well, everyone, we got a lot to look forward to. It's right around the corner. September 18th is the release date for this title. It is a limited release, and especially on the physical editions, we don't know how many of those they're going to make before they start pulling the plug on it. So I would just recommend to all the fans that want to get this game, go pre-order it now. You can get it on Best Buy, Amazon, last time I checked. I don't know if they're going to sell out soon, or if it's going to be something where this carries well through the holiday with no, issues as far as, production of the physical copy. Obviously, if you're getting the digital version, you can pre-order it at your leisure whenever you want. As long as you buy this game before the 31st of March of next year, you will be able to have it all in one collection. You will get the soundtrack bonuses and all of that stuff that they announced. And then my speculation and theory on what they're going to do after that window for this title is that I think that we might just see it go to individual releases. And maybe it is just $20 per game, so it ultimately ends up being a $60 value at the end of it too. But I could see them doing like maybe $20 for Mario 64, 20 or 30 for Sunshine, and then maybe they do a full scale like $40 for Mario Galaxy. So I do think that this is definitely the best window to buy this game now. And then me personally as a collector, I'm definitely getting the physical copy. I've already got mine pre-ordered through Best Buy. But like I said, go to whatever retailer you want to, but try to pre-order it ahead of time just in case if we do see any kind of inventory shortage with this title. And with that, guys, I'm going to end the video here. I'm really pumped about this game. I would love to just get a back and forth conversation started on what you guys are looking forward to the most out of this collection. So leave me a comment down below. I will actually respond to every comment on my videos, so I appreciate you guys leaving those. And then lastly, I do just want to invite you one more time to join Sunbro Nation today if you haven't already, as we try to grow the nation together. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, turn on the bell notification icon so you're notified when I upload new content. I will be doing follow-ups as far as maybe side-by-side comparisons about these games as we lead up to the release. And then I'm also going to do a separate video more dedicated to Mario 3D World, because there were some details in there that I want to talk through as well. But with that, guys, you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.